What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Seahawks Now, your home for all things daily Seahawks news, rumors, and of course, updates. Today, it is mostly updates we're going to be hearing, not a whole lot of breaking news, but we do have a couple of things we want to talk about. First up, Trey Hendrickson, rumors continuing to fly after new updates. I don't know what to make of this situation, but I'm still in on the Seahawks trying to trade for him. If they do, I would be down. I'd support it 100%. I want Trey Hendrickson on the Seahawks, and we do have more updates to those rumors, so we're going to talk about that. Then we go over a recent ranking that lists the Seahawks as a top 20 offense. Talk about, are they rated too high, too low, or just right? And finally, we talk about the impact that DeMarcus Lawrence has been having early on in his tenure with the Seattle Seahawks. All that and more right here today on Seahawks Now. Alrighty, let's get into it. Trey Hendrickson rumors still flying after the new updates. And yeah, guys, like I said, I don't really know what to make of this. We saw last week, we heard that Trey Hendrickson was probably going to return to the Bengals. We heard that they wanted to bring him back. We heard that they were reopening contract negotiations. But then recently we've heard that the Lions are still in on him. According to fan-sided Sideline Report, the Lions are still interested in Trey Hendrickson. Pat McAfee recently reported that there's disagreement over value, and there's also a disagreement over length. They can't even find common ground on the length of the deal. So they are talking again, but they're not really any closer than they were when they were talking previously. And so because it is clearly two sides that are very far apart right now, there is certainly still a possibility that Trey Hendrickson could be moved. From everything that we are hearing, the Bengals want to give him a 1-year contract. And for a guy like Trey Hendrickson, that is just, it's not right. Trey Hendrickson has earned a multi-year deal. He's earned guaranteed money. He's earned to play in a big market for a big contract, and he's earned a chance to win. But Adam Schefter very recently, on the Pat McAfee show, Schefter said, quote, I think that the Bengals would like a low deal, like a 1 year, yeah. So it's just tough because for a guy like Trey Hendrickson, he can't accept that. He's 31 years old. He needs to get paid, and he needs to get paid now. What Hendrickson is looking for is a long-term deal. He wants to get over $30 million. The Bengals reportedly offered $28 million. Yeah, so I think there's a chance that this could happen. Look, I don't mean to make massive predictions. I'm not sure if Trey Hendrickson is going to be a Bengal next year. And if he's not a Bengal, you know where I want him to be. I want him to be in Seattle. Because yes, the Seahawks could absolutely benefit from Trey Hendrickson. I understand the Lions might be interested. I understand the Commanders might be interested. The Seahawks better be interested. You know what I mean? And I hope that the reason why they didn't go out and sign Jair Alexander is because maybe they are waiting for Trey to become available. Maybe they are waiting to swing a big deal. Look, I understand he's expensive. I get that. I get that making a trade at this point in the offseason is kind of unheard of. But if Trey Hendrickson is available, you make that trade. I feel like I'm a broken record saying this because these rumors have been flying for so long. But need I remind you, leads the NFL in sacks over the past 2 seasons with 35 sacks over the past 2 years. 17.5 sacks last year, 17.5 sacks the year before that. He's been to 4 straight Pro Bowls. Last year, first team All-Pro. He was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He ended up with 46 tackles, 19 tackles for a loss, career high. 36 quarterback hits, also a career high. An approximate value of 15, also a career high. If you look at the past 5 seasons, he's been an absolute stud. Over the past 5 years, he averages 14 sacks a season. He averages 25 tackles per season. He averages 11 assists, 13 tackles for loss, 27 quarterback hits. That is what he is doing. He's also averaging 3 passes defended, not that it really matters. He's averaging 16 games a season, so he's healthy, he's playing, he's making an impact. And like I said, he's coming off the best year of his career, so I understand that he is going to be 31 next year, but he's at his peak right now. You have to be willing to trade for a guy like this and to pay him because he's going to make an impact on your team. He's going to be able to lead your pass rush unit to so much more success than they currently can have. Because right now, while they do have a good pass rush unit, it's not an elite pass rush unit, right? Boye Mafe is good. Uchenna Nwosu is good when he's healthy, which is not all the time. And the same can be said about DeMarcus Lawrence. When he's healthy, DeMarcus Lawrence, I really like him. But he's not always healthy, and we do have to understand that. We have to be able to, to be okay with the fact that, yeah, we can definitely add to this unit. Trey Hendrickson does that, and that's why I'm in on him. So again, the latest rumors are they're nowhere closer than they were previously, and so there's still, I think, a chance that this guy could get traded. All right, let's move on. The Seahawks offense recently was ranked number 20 in a recent rankings from Pro Football Network. We discussed, is that too high or too low or maybe just right? Personally, I think it is a little bit too low. So the good news is we are in the top 20, right? That's the good news. But yeah, clearly some people just don't really see the vision. According to Tim Weaver, writing for Seattle Seahawks on SI, that might be because one critical piece is missing. Interesting. What piece is missing? Well, let's continue on. Obviously, the team did take a big risk. They traded DK Metcalf. They traded Geno Smith. They brought in Sam Darnold, and they brought in Cooper Kupp. They also drafted Jalen Milroe and Elijah Arroyo. Who knows how much of an impact the rookies will have this year? I think Arroyo will have some impact. But according to a new ranking from Pro Football Network, they are still ranked at just number 20. They do have the potential to rise. Here's what they write, quote, "Now they welcome Sam Darnold and hope that he and Jackson Smith-Njigba can take this unit to the new heights. The depth on the offense is questionable. Kupp is their wide receiver too, a role he didn't look capable of filling for an extended period of time last season, and that has us tepid when projecting Seattle's future. Yet the high-end talent is in place, and in a star-driven league, that gives the Seahawks the potential to finish better than the NFL average." Interesting. So they don't love Cooper Kupp. I'm not so sure whether Cooper Kupp was bad last year or whether he was hurt last year. Personally, I think it was more injury related than the fact that he was bad. He was getting just as much separation as anyone in the league. So I don't necessarily think that Kupp can't be our wide receiver too. I think if he can stay healthy, he absolutely can be that for us. But I do appreciate they call it a star-driven league. They clearly believe that JSN is a star. I do think that the big hole is on the offensive line. I think that is the biggest hole because, you do have Gray Zabel, you do have Charles Cross. I think the center position is somewhat of a hole, and I do think they could upgrade on the right side of the line as well, especially if Abe Lucas, we believe he's going to be playing right tackle, but can he stay healthy? I hope so, but if not, then the right side is going to be, I think, pretty weak on the offensive line. But at the same time, I still think this is a good offense. If they're healthy, it's tough because it all comes down to health. I mean, Kenneth Walker's the same way. When Kenneth Walker's healthy, he's one of the best running backs in all of football, but he hasn't shown the ability to consistently stay healthy throughout his time in Seattle. So if he can stay healthy for us next year, that's huge. If he doesn't stay healthy for us, then yeah, the offense probably does slip a little bit. I still think number 20 is a little bit too low. I'd probably rank us around the 15 mark. I think we're about average as an offense. I think Sam Darnold is an above average quarterback. I think we do have an above average receiving core. And I think that when he's healthy, we have an above average running back. So yeah, I would put us above the top 20 for sure. All right, one last thing I want to talk about today. There's a recent article out from 710 Sports, how DeMarcus Lawrence is making an early impact. And I'd love to see this because DeMarcus Lawrence is one of those guys that I really wasn't sure about when we signed him. I was saying he's a veteran guy. He has had good seasons, but also, suffers from some injuries. But he is a 4-time Pro Bowler, and I do think that it was a good contract. So he inked a 3-year, $40 million deal. He brings a track record of production to the Pacific Northwest, 61.5 career sacks in over 11 years with the Dallas Cowboys. But according to his new teammates, according to this article, his impact goes far beyond the numbers. That was evident during recent non-padded OTA and minicamp practices. This is according to Cameron Van Til of SeattleSports.com. He writes, "The type of leadership and mindset that he brings to the team is just phenomenal." That's quoted Leonard Williams. "He's a dog. He speaks a lot. He plays hard. He's going into year 12. He's out there practicing harder than some of the rookies." It's good to hear. So we're getting on the rookies like saying, okay, this is an example. This guy's going into year 12. He has nothing to prove, but he's out there working his craft as hard as he can every day. Yeah, that's good to see. I mean, Tank Lawrence, he does have nothing to prove. He's got the nickname. He's earned his money. He's made his money he already got the bag in Dallas. I mean, $40 million for him. he doesn't need this $40 million. He got paid a lot more than that by the Cowboys about 5 years ago. But he is still working very hard. According to Aiden Durde, the defensive line coach, he said, defensive coordinator now, he said he brings a dog mentality. Quote, he's going out here and he's going to play first and second down the same way he plays third down. He's going to get after it. That's one of the reasons why he's here. Great to hear. I mean, I love to hear this speaking praise about DeMarcus Lawrence because, again, I was kind of not sure about whether I thought this was a good contract or not, but the more I think about it, the more I do like it. Here's what safety Julian Love has to say, quote, he's been around and he knows how to win football games, so you can just tell that when things are going right for us, he's vibing. When things aren't up to standard, he's kind of has that look to him, like this isn't good enough. And so I think he brings a standard to the defensive room. And I think just personality-wise, I mean, people love to be around him. He's been around the block, he works hard, and he's just a great addition. Again, all really good things to hear about DeMarcus Lawrence. It makes me more pumped to be able to watch this guy for the next 3 years in a Seahawks uniform, and it really makes me hopeful that he can at least stay healthy and stay on the field for the majority of the games he plays in Seattle, because I do think he can be an impact edge rusher. Again, is he going to be Trey Hendrickson? No. And I still think the Seahawks should trade for Trey Hendrickson if they can. But DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be good. I am happy that we have him. All right, guys, that's going to wrap things up for today. Again, as always, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel below. It really helps the channel out, and it doesn't take you very long. Just hit that red button down below. Why not? And as always, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until next time, go Seahawks.